6 weeks out of the year. You don't want to. The reason most advertising fails is lack of consistency. You have to be consistent. What you want to do is create top of mind awareness. Let's see. We probably all took a shower this morning, but I'll pick on you. Name as many kinds of bath soap as you possibly can. Go for it.
Irish Spring.
That's the one you use.
Dove.
Okay.
That's what your wife uses.
Yep.
Here, I'm going to show you the number.
Suave.
Probably Tony, he'll come up with.
Oh, okay. And then soft soap, I guess.
There you go. I just showed you the number 4 secretly over here. Most people in their middle Rolodex can only go about 4 deep in any kind of category. You know, if I were to say hamburgers, you might be able to add in Wendy's, McDonald's, and Burger King. But you start stretching into Sonic, you start stretching into Five Guys, you start stretching into Mr. Burger. It's hard to go about 4 or 5 deep in any category. All you want to do as an advertiser is whenever that person has a need for your product, quit, and that's what I always tell people, quit trying to spend so much time creating a buyer today. Spend your time just being consistent, just being out there, because when that person has that need, they're going to flip through their mental Rolodex. About 4 names are going to come to mind, and they're probably going to go to one or all of those 4. If they're shopping, they're going to go to 4 to try to see where they can get the best service, the best value, put that all together. That you just want to be one of those 4. So you got to be there consistently. But didn't y'all hunt? I don't want to discount girls from hunting because some women do hunt.
I do the resumes.
Y'all hunt?
Yes.
I like to go out, especially back in Texas. We love to dove hunt. That was a big thing. Dove fly in the morning. Dove fly in the evening. Dove do not fly in the middle of the day. They're just out there like geese. They're just out in the field eating corn, eating whatever kind of seed they find on the ground. You shoot the birds when the birds are flying. So, like I was talking to this moving company today, if I think back to all of the times that I've had to move, and it's been quite a few, the way that it goes down is my old company would say, Chris, you're going to wherever, and I'd say, oh, okay, well that's good, and I'd go there and I'd live in a hotel or some crappy little apartment or something, and my family would stay wherever they were until school was out in June, and then everybody and all of my crap would move to wherever I was currently living. So right now, the birds are about to fly for the moving industry. So what you want to do is, if I have an advertising budget, is I want to say, okay, I'm going to build it into 2 sections. I'm going to have me a maintenance budget, and I'm going to divide that up into a peak budget. So I'm going to spend, I don't know, maybe it's only 4 months out of the year, is whenever you're, like if you were in the nursery business or something. It's going to start, let's see here, it'll have to be after the real last, it's going to start probably somewhere about the end of May, mid-May, and it'll keep up probably until around the start of August. People will stop buying because they just know, especially on perennials that or annuals, that they're just going to be dead here in a few weeks anyway. So that's when the birds are flying with your market right there. So I'd spend probably 50% of my budget. If I'm in the jewelry industry, I'm going to be spending probably 70% of my budget on Christmas, probably 20% on Valentine's and the start of the year, and the rest will just be spread into there because we actually have 2 places there where you have more sales. So I'm going to divide my budget up, but I'm going to always be there because you never know when somebody's going to flip through the middle Rolodex and they need to have you. Plus, on top of that is you make a really good, what we call sticky message that stays with you. Well, then that sticky message it's like jingles. One of my friends, his name is Paul Loomis. He wrote the jingle for Rocket Express. It's a blast. He wrote that jingle. He's also the advertising agency and jingle writer for Texas Ford, for Dairy Queen, You've probably heard, call 1-800-STEAMER, Stanley Steamer makes carpets cleaner. Paul wrote that. He's the guy that wrote that. And good ain't cheap, cheap ain't good. That jingle cost, and he gave him a break because he gives me a break because he's a friend of mine, $4,000 to write that jingle. I can guarantee you Joe Russell has made way more, who owns the car wash, has made a lot more money off having that jingle because that message is sticky. I'll give you an example of another sticky message. Lived in Fort Worth, Dallas, Fort Worth, it's all together. We owned a house, we moved, we're gone for 5 years, we're landlords. I'm a really crappy landlord. Oh, my kids are sick, I can't pay the rent. That's okay, just don't worry about it. Whereas my wife is, you go down there and you kick their asses to the street. So, because I'm just too kind-hearted, you know. I let these people from Sweden that came, it's during the dot-com boom. Anyway, this guy, I called him Strudel. I know that's probably derogatory, but I had to educate him. Whenever he initially paid me, he had this safe up in the room, like sitting there, and he went over there and opened it up, and he had stacks and stacks of cash, I guess. And I think he's from Switzerland. They deal in a lot of cash over there, and I'm like, dude, don't ever show anybody that. They'll cut your throat, man. I mean, go put that in a bank somewhere. So anyway, Strudel called me up, and he's like, yeah, our business is bankrupt. We're our visas, we can't get back to Switzerland, and I let them stay there for about 3 months rent free. And I was like, they got kids, and I was like, I don't care, we got kids. Anyway, so anyway, me being a landlord did not work. So we had to get out of the landlord business. So we're there, we're cleaning the house and getting it all ready to sell. And my wife says, let's see if we can save these carpets. Let's call a carpet cleaner. Well, we had a cell phone. You got to remember that was in the 90s. We didn't have smartphones. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Looked like the old. I used to have these little green army men. The one dude always had that big walkie-talkie. Yeah. It was cool. Anyway, she says, well, I'll have to go up to the convenience store and get a phone book because we didn't have a phone book there. And I said, hang on, call. It's not Stanley Steam, but it was. Call 267-8134 because the next best thing to do is Dalworth Clean. Anyway, I thought that jingle, called them up, I was like, damn, it's ringing. Oh, it's them. Cleaned our carpet, and I remembered it because of this jingle. So anyway, so you want to have a sticky message. I don't even know how I got off on the topic. But then, after you decide your budget, then you want to decide what media you want to use. Only go with one that you can truly afford to have enough market reach and frequency and share a voice to do something with. And then you want to really concentrate on your message and create a message that's good, a message that's sticky, a message that's emotional. I'll give you an example of emotion.
While you're pulling that out, can you give an example of a minimum budget you think someone should consider?
In Twin Falls, on television, probably about $350. You can buy a spot in our morning show with Nick and Danielle, Rise and Shine, for about $25 or $30.
Oh, they should cost more than that. They're good.
Now that's from 5:30 to 6, from 6 to 7. It goes up to about 40, and but you can buy a spot and say, let's make a deal in the middle of the day. Again, there's viewers there. It's just not like Ellen, but you can buy a spot in there for $15. You can buy a spot over on our CW station. If you have a shop or a business that you want to talk to young women, the best deal in this whole entire town is over on our CW station because they all watch Vampire Diaries and Carrie, whatever. And you know, I don't know. I was watching Tosh.0 a few weeks ago, and it seems like it's fashionable to be like a good-looking vampire these days. And there's a kid who was real nerdy. He says, no, all we got to do is dress you up to look like a vampire, and the girls are going to fall all over you. Of course, he put him in a big collar with gray slick back hair and fangs. And anyway, it's pretty funny. But the thing that you want to do with your and I probably need to tell on myself, but I was trying to convey this morning about emotion and how emotion needs to impact, we got 5 minutes, how emotion needs to impact the advertising message that you do, you need to put emotion in every message that you can. It's real important. I'll give you a prime example. I got 2 credit cards. Got my old Southwest Airlines Visa, got my American Express card. This I've had for about 4 years. This I got whenever I got out of college because I thought it was cool because I saw the guys in the business world I was in put their American Express card out. So I got it because I thought it was like a status thing.
You're a member.
I'm a member since 1992.
You were 12.
Yeah, I wish. Here I'm a member, here I'm just a number. Here I pay for my green card, I pay about $100 and something bucks a year. Here I get it for free and I get miles on a Southwest flight. Here I gotta pay my balance in full every single month. Here, send me 10 bucks, I'm fine with that. Don't worry about it, we'll get it when we get it. This is accepted at not everywhere, and this is accepted everywhere. You get down to it. So I looked at, I was like, why am I doing this? Why do I pay these people $100 a year to, quite frankly, be shitty to me if I don't send them their money directly? Why do I do that? So I call up and say, hey, this is Chris Pruitt, member 92. I'm done. Cut it off. I know it's all completely orchestrated. She's like, oh, Mr. Pruitt, let's talk about this for a minute. I'm like, you know that your membership does have privileges. I know you may not take advantage of it, but let me talk about it for a minute. Are you wanting to give up your membership equity since 1992? Again, that's why I don't make a good landlord. Oh, well, let's just leave it on, and yeah, let's go ahead and add that credit protection. The easiest person you say is the salesperson. So, looks like you're in trouble. But anyway, I still got it, but they emotionally appeal to me. And commercial messages that emotionally appeal to you, those are the ones that grab you. That's how you be effective. That's how you're effective. This morning I was telling the guy, he was like, but I've got 3 minutes. I just got a moving company. I come out, I got some guys, and I put my guys in uniforms so they look good and they have name tags and stuff. He says, they just pick your stuff up and they put it in the truck. We go to where we're going. We unload it. We put it. How do you put emotion in that? I'm like, hold on. You're coming to my home. I'm giving you all of my own possessions. I'm giving you my kids' possessions.
My great-grandmother's
I'm trusting you
box.
with my great-grandmother's sewing box. I'm wanting you to treat it like it's your own. You know, my house, we moved so much, we had this 2x4 board that we mark all of our kids' heights on. You know, the guy, oh, this doesn't ride in the back. This rides in the cab with me. I just separated a mover, just in a few words there, from every other mover, just by Uncle Ben's rice. My wife, she's from Louisiana, they eat rice with everything. Everything. They come from an area where they call them Kunaxes. And they eat rice. They eat rice for breakfast with milk on it. I mean, it's crazy. I used to
Hey,
love
wait a minute, that's delicious. That's
It's-
Alabama.
I hear you. And I like grits too. They eat grits
Oh,
too.
yeah.
But I liked Uncle Ben's rice. And she says, no, it's stupid. Just buy the cheap rice, we'll put it in the rice maker, and we'll just cook it. And I'm like, Uncle Ben's rice means something special to me. That's better. I saw people picking out grains of rice and selecting them one at a time to go in that box. It's 5 times more. You know, it's 5 times more, but it probably is the same thing that's in that bag down there. But we want to pay more for it because they did a good job positioning it. So one last thing, and then the bell's gonna ring, or I don't know if bells ring in college anymore.
They don't ring.
But so then what you'd want to do after you get your budget, you decide your message, then you want to place your ad schedule. That's where you call all the media, you get them to come in, and you tell them to put your proposals together, and then you compare those proposals based on, the easiest thing to base it on is on what's called a CPM, or a cost per thousand. You probably know. I say it CPM all the time, but if you were an ad agency, we go by cost per point, but CPM means cost per thousand. Why they didn't call it CPT, I don't, M stands for something, I can't remember.
Sounds for thousand, but
I don't know.
in the printing industry, it's K,
Okay?
yeah, for thousand.
There you go. Well, there you
So,
go.
yeah.
So you just figure out how much is it costing me for
PPK.
every 1,000 people I reach, and then that's your comparison basis. And then they can also pull for you what's called a frequency distribution that can tell you in electronic media especially, how many times that person will reach your message, will be, how many people, it's just an algorithm thing, but approximately how many people for whatever period your flight is, and that's what we call a length of time that refers to how long that campaign's going to run, how many times a person will be impacted with that message, or how many times a person will be reached with that message.
Within your demographic.
That's it. And the smaller the market, the harder it is to, you would think it'd be easier to target people, the harder it is to really target, but you can do it on the internet too, so I'm sorry I'm out of time. But
Oh,
if you
this was
ever have any
wonderful.
other questions.